keep going until the fall, or until I fall. Whatever comes first. Oh, I'll keep singing until I break, or until I fall.
All right. We're going to get started here real quick. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to our screening. I really hope you enjoyed all of our films, and I'm happy to see so many of you guys joining us here in our Zoom call today. Again, if you have any questions, you can hold on to them or you can throw them in the chat ahead of time. But all that being said, I'm going to pass it off to our wonderful MCs, Sophia and Evelina. Take it away.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this extra Q&A portion of the night. Once again, my name is Evelina.
And my name is Sophia. And so tonight we kind of wanted to use this Q&A as kind of a get to know the filmmakers a bit more and an opportunity for the audience to ask any questions specific to the filmmaker or just a class in general. We'd be really happy to answer all your questions for you. But before we begin, we wanted to open up the floor to Professor Simone and our TA Samaya to just say a few words.
Well, yeah, thank you for inviting me to say a few words. I think I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for allowing me to be part of this unexpected, incredible journey in this very weird situation we have this year. And in watching all of your films tonight all together, finally, after all this work, I was thinking about the fact that art, what does it mean? One of the things that art means is, one of the things that art is, art has to be somehow therapeutic, therapeutic for the individuals, therapeutic for society. And I think that like through all the amazing work that you guys have done throughout the year, and your talent and also resilience, perseverance. I mean, it's you. I think you were all able to create art that was therapeutic for people that watched. At least I tried to watch it as a spectator tonight, and also I think maybe it was also for yourself, and that's probably why it was so powerful. Yeah, so I'm really proud, extremely proud of all of you and all the hard work you put into this. And I think maybe the thing I'm most proud of is the fact that you probably have heard this hundreds of times, that cinema is a collaborative art, right? And so the sense of community that you all were able to create and keep afloat in these very crazy circumstances, just on Zoom and on chats and on through emails, just it's really outstanding. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to all the work you guys are gonna make in coming years.
All right, and Samaya, were you wanting to say anything, or should we move on?
Actually, I don't have any specific thing to say except for the very expected things. There's no surprise, but yeah, I really enjoyed working with you all, and I honestly feel like I never felt like a TA or anything. I felt like I'm one of the cohort members, so I felt like I'm a student with you, and I was really learning a lot, and I appreciated a lot the unique, I think, teaching style of Simone. And because like he's a filmmaker, so he has a different, I think, approach to teaching, and that was really wonderful. And along with that, working with you all, it was so sweet, and so really I learned a lot from each and every one of you, and I enjoyed it. And thanks a lot. Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you so much, Samaya, and thank you so much, Simone. So to get the ball rolling, we're asking each filmmaker one of two questions. The first one is, what is one thing you didn't expect or plan to happen during filmmaking? And the second question is, what is one problem you had to overcome during the filmmaking experience?
And for this, we're going to be going through the screening order of the films, and we ask that every filmmaker please have your camera on if you can. And before you begin, can you just introduce yourself, say your name, and also the title of your film, and then get into the question. So first up, we have Katie.
Hi, yeah, so I'm Katie Christing. My film was Kind Regards. And what was the first one? Yes, so one thing I didn't expect to happen was the sun to go down so fast. No, but actually, when filming, I think COVID impacted it more than I expected, especially because I'd go to a location and then, I'd have to assess how it was in person versus like signing up for it or just, having all the guidelines. So there was a ton of change of location, which I thought was a fun challenge, honestly, because I had to come up with my own little like cardboard cutouts and stuff and make my own locations instead. Like the mailroom was actually our laundry room here on Residence. Yeah, and then the second one is what's one problem I had to overcome during my filmmaking experience? Again, location, but this time it was my like own, for the scene where she unveils what's out of the package. We did that about like 7-ish times and it just was not working and I couldn't figure it out. And I learned if it's not working, I should probably just completely start over, even though I was really attached to certain elements, but I just scrapped it and I really enjoyed how it turned out.
All right, thank you, Katie. And does anybody have any questions for her? All right, let's move on to Ramalyn Sagan, who doesn't have Wi-Fi working right at this moment. So Colleen is going to be responding for her. You can just imagine Ram talking if you know her.
Okay, so Ram would like to answer the most challenging question, and Ram's film was named. Sorry, one moment.
Dinner
Ram, what
Plans.
was your film name? You can Dinner Plans. There you go. Thank you. So sorry, I blanked. Anyways, so Ram says, I think most, if not all of us, can agree that the past year has been challenging with its limitations and restrictions. One aspect of filmmaking, which was a bit of a hurdle for myself, was learning to adapt to the given circumstances and embrace such obstacles and work for them as gracefully as possible. I, for one, have zero editing experience, so it was very touch and go, but still an important, somewhat independent experience. If you'd like to add anything, Ram, if your connection is stable.
Okay, I guess since her connection isn't working right now, I guess we can, if there's any more questions for Ram afterwards, maybe we can come back at the end. And then if anyone, we can, hopefully her connection is working. So we will be moving on to Tawan.
Hi, my name's Tuan Ploidy. I made the Druid. I directed the Druid. And the first question was one thing I didn't expect to happen during filming, and that would probably be how fast time would be going. I guess, I think a lot of people here would agree with that. Just essentially, if you get a certain amount of time, and then you're like, okay, great, and then it passes by really fast, and that's one thing I did not expect. And for the second question was what was the second question?
You only have to answer one of them if you'd like.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're good.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the next person, which is Sophia English with the Chedster.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and mine was the Chedster. One problem I had to overcome, this was like kind of like a reoccurring issue, was trying to figure out how to like create this like imaginary world. And yeah, that really showed through during like the editing experience. And I kind of saw was like, okay, like how am I gonna make this clear? So using sound effects ended up being really helpful, and a little fun thing to add, make it more, you know, kid-like imaginary friend. But yeah, it all works out in the end. Trust the process. I really had to do that.
Sorry, any questions for Sophia? And I realized I kind of skipped over Tawan's any questions section. So if anybody has any questions for Tawan too. No? All right. So next we have Colleen Bayati with A Flicker of Love.
Hi, I'm Colleen Bayati with A Flicker of Love. Thank you, Evelina. And I guess for me, the most challenging part was, since it was an animation, it took longer than expected. And of course, since it was an animation, but it really showed me just how much tiny little details are like so easily given when shooting with live action, that if you wanted to replicate in an animation, it takes a while, if not a lot of like careful looking, careful scanning, analyzing, things like that. So I would always have to go do the work, and then I realized there's something wrong, and then I have to go back. So I kind of came up with a method of doing a visual outline, where I just outline each shot, and then I went back and I fixed it, because then I could see the flaws while feeling the rhythm of the story. But yeah, that was a challenge for me, because it was very difficult in these times, especially to have to just sit in front of a computer drawing with like nothing to distract me. Yeah.
All right. I actually have a question for you, Colleen. Do you know how many hours you spent on this? Like, it must have taken you so long.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't really count, but at least I just remember that if I did one shot, which would just be the shot itself, not including the movement of the shot, like setting up of the shot, it took me 2 hours. And then if I added movement, it probably added 30 minutes on it as well. But I tried to, because I'm a lazy filmmaker, I tried to eliminate as much shot difference, so then I could just focus on movement of the characters. But yeah, so I would say per each shot, it would be somewhat from like 2 to 3 hours, depending on how complicated the shot was, and then like 30 minutes more for movement.
Wow, that's a lot. Well,
I'm blind now. I can't see. All this blue light, it's just gone. I can't see anymore.
so does anybody have any other questions for Colleen? No? All right. So we're going to move on to Malcolm.
Hello, my name's Malcolm Sondrup, and I made Life Goes On. One thing I didn't expect to happen when I was filming is that it snowed. I live in Alberta, so it was positive 15 one day, and then the next day it snowed. So I was glad that I filmed everything that was outside the day before, because I didn't expect that to happen.
All right, any questions from the audience for Malcolm? If not, then we will move on to Lauren.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren. My film was Death Drives a Toyota. I apologize for being on Jasmine's webcam. My webcam is not working. I guess my biggest thing that I did not expect was that I thought the main character, like originally when I wrote it, was gonna be like the guy, and then as I was making the film, I was like, hey, this skeleton's a little more interesting. I'm gonna focus more on his little life, and that's what I did. Thank you, everyone.
All right, is there any questions for Lauren?
May I ask, like, what program did you use for the animation?
I
And
used,
how long
oh, sorry.
how long does it take you? Took you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I used Procreate on my phone, and it took a long time. It, like, I'd say like one shot that has like continuous movement and animation take like maybe like 2 to 3 hours. And that's just like one shot. Like the still shots were like a little easier because you can like loop them for that movement. But yeah, it was a long process.
So you drew it using your fingers?
I did on this phone right here.
Wow, that is very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty delicate. I really like it.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Lauren? No? All right. We're going to move on to Luke Chung.
Hello, my name is Luke Chung. My film was certainly uncertain. And one of the challenges I faced while filming was, I guess, being uncertain on what I was doing. I didn't even know what I was doing. Like, even though it was my film, I didn't fully understand my idea. So I don't know, I just shot it based on my storyboard. And then I found out that the only thing I was certain on was being uncertain. Oh, and I also kind of risked my life in one of the shots. There was when they were walking, it was like the overpass on the number 1 highway. So I had to like run across to the middle to get that shot. And there was like cars going by and I almost died for that shot. Yeah.
The dedication.
Yeah.
The dedication. Is there any questions for Luke? If not, then we will move on to Joseph.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joseph Koo, and my film was Why Did It Die? So one problem that I faced during filming is, so for the opening scene at the parkade, we actually realized halfway through shooting that it was actually a construction zone and that it wasn't accessible at all. And there weren't any signs. Like a security guard came up and told us that we had to leave. We actually came back at a future date to get the last remaining shots because we couldn't, go to a different location because it just looked too perfect. So that was a little hiccup. And one thing one problem that I faced just with the narrative of the film is just trying my best to approach the topic as respectfully and aptly as possible, and trying to capture a sense of accuracy, but also a sense of respect for the subject matter. So yeah, and talking with the actors and trying to create that verisimilitude was a huge part of the process. And yeah, and I'd say that was like one of the biggest hurdles that I had to go through. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's very good.
All right, thank you, Joseph. Does anybody have any questions for him? No? All right, so we're gonna move on to Angie.
Hi, I'm Angie. I did receipts. I think generally I'm a person that's like really motivated by the people I'm around, but I think because this past year has all been online, it's been kind of difficult for me to kind of like source that motivation when I'm not physically around those people. And I don't really come from a background specifically in film. So with this film, I think I had a lot of troubles kind of finding or defining like a voice for the film. So I did a lot of work and then I, had to scrap it and then it was really discouraging. So I think, yeah, a big problem I faced was just trying to like figure out, you know, what I wanted to achieve with the film or what I wanted to say, and trying to kind of keep my head in the game and stay motivated without being in the presence of like wonderful peers who you're like, oh man, their work is so great. Oh shoot, what am I doing? But yeah, it's always the good old mantra of trust the process. So.
Thank you, Angie. And is there any more questions for Angie? Then we will move on to Kendra.
Hi, I'm Kendra. I did The Presence of a Good Thing.
Mind. Definitely have to get crafty for these films. Someone asked what brand of banana we would like to know.
I have no idea. I'll say what, like a Dole banana. They have bananas, right?
Mm-hmm. Good brand, good choice. I will, yeah, keep that in mind. Okay, is there someone asked organic or non-organic? Is it
excellent? Yeah, the banana. It's actually 3 different bananas helped me out during shooting. So, like, yeah, like I can't just put all the credit to one of them. Okay, I have to give equal credit to all. I'm sorry, so I can't definitively say which one to recommend.
It was a group effort, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. Any more questions? Simone says, what happened to them?
They got eaten by my family, and that was the problem because I was using the one banana and then someone ate it, and then there was no bananas for like a day or two, and so I had to wait to use the banana tripod again until we bought more. A shame.
Thank you for sharing all these tips, Kendra. Thank you so much. I think, should we move on to Evelina?
Yeah, sure. In fact, actually, I can testify to the banana tripod. When we were doing our filming for the screening, I used a banana tripod with a little bit of tape, and it was perfect. So my name is Evelina Gruhl, and my film was Wash It Out. So I'm going to answer the question about a problem I had to overcome. And for me, like, because I was playing 2 different characters in my film, I struggled with, like, because I only had 2 days to film it with a friend that was helping me, and the sunlight just changed drastically, and I fixed it mostly afterwards, but I don't know if you look at it, you can see closely. So that was a problem I had to overcome, and I definitely became more aware of how sunlight changes. Yeah. So if anybody has any more questions for me, no, we will move on to Prapad.
I don't think he's here.
Okay, so we're actually going to be moving on to Dag.
Hi, everyone.
Thailand, so he's on a different platform.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Dag Davidge, and my film was Late Winter, Early Spring. And I think kind of something that was unexpected and one of my biggest challenges kind of were intertwined. So because I was filming with my dog Lola, a lot of the little things that she would do were very unpredictable. So that shot kind of near the beginning where she like wriggles her arm out and places her paw on my arm, I just thought was such a sweet little moment between her and the character Milo. And I really wanted to use it so badly, but because it was like way later in the shooting and I wanted to condense the scene, I had to use a cut so that I could have both things, but then I needed to figure out a way to hide the cut. And that happened quite a few times where I was trying to hide the cut because I really wanted to keep this wonderful moment, these wonderful moments, but like it was so tricky to find the right shots that actually filled out the diegesis and really filled out the narrative and didn't detract and didn't seem like just a shot being put there to hide a cut. So yeah, that was really tricky, but it was also so wonderful to have these little like cosmic contributions coming in.
Definitely. That was such a cute little moment. I'm so glad it made it to the final film. It was just perfect. Is there any questions for Dag?
That shot made me want a dog.
They're pretty great until they're terrible.
If there's no. Sorry, word vomit. If there's no other questions, then we'll move on to Patricia.
I think there's a comment in the chat or a question in the chat. Sorry.
Let me. How did you make the face washing shot?
Oh, yeah. So I made that one. I shot everything with my phone. So I was like really lucky to have like such a small device. So I put this mason jar at the bottom of my sink, and then I put my phone on top of the mason jar, and then I balanced like this kind of big glass container on top of the phone, on top of the mason jar, and then I let the sink run in it. So then like the water would fill up and you'd get all the rippling and the distortion, but it wouldn't get my phone wet.
That's very clever. Okay, we can move on to Patricia.
I don't think she's here.
Okay, then we can go on to Jasmine.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Bettingfield. I directed Piggy. Okay, a struggle I faced while shooting was the fish element of it. I had the opportunity to use a real fish at one point that I did not take because that felt strange to me. And so I went to the tackle store and I purchased a little tackle fish. But the problem that presented was it did not float. And so I tried hot gluing doll hair to it so that I could suspend it over top of the water so that it would stay there. And that didn't, it worked for one shot, but then the other one I had to use saran wrap. And so if you saw the saran wrap, please do not comment on it. I tried my hardest. Yeah, it was strange, but I made it work. The fish wasn't real, just so everybody knows, not that it was really realistic, but just to assure everybody tonight, no fish were harmed. Yeah, a lot of doll hair and a lot of hot glue. So, thank you.
All right, that's not what I expected. Does anybody have any other questions for Jasmine?
Did you actually light Lauren's finger on fire?
Yeah, actually.
So here's the thing. Okay, so I rigged it in such a way in which Band-Aid, okay, listen. So there was a bit of cotton on the Band-Aid, and the cotton bit, we tried it. It's been a convention that we've done before, not even just filming. We were kind of just doing it one day.
It was Hanukkah.
It was Hanukkah, and we like had a lighter, and so we were just playing around.
My fingers were a menorah.
Yeah. So we both felt safe doing it. I made sure that there was a bowl of water there in case anything happened. But yeah, the piece of cotton on top was lit. Yes. Long story short, thank you for enduring that. Simone asked, was it painful?
Oh, no. It did not get down to the finger. It was well above the finger. Yeah, I blew it out in time.
Yes.
All right, and somebody else asked, how expensive was the fish?
I don't recall. The number $7.95 comes into my head, but I think I just made that up. It wasn't more than $10, I don't believe. It was affordable.
That's kind of a lot for a fake fish. But I
No,
love fish, so I don't know.
it's tackle. I can reuse it for when I'm fishing.
Perfect. All right, so does anybody else have any other questions? No? Okay, so we're gonna move on to Cal.
Wait, Simone had a question. He said, did you really flush it?
No, sir. Did not enter my drain system. No.
No. All right. Kala, are you ready?
I think Kala is far away in an estranged time zone somewhere out there in the north.
I mean, I honestly think they're in the same time zone, but that's okay. I understand. I'm tired. Okay. Sheriff, are you there? No. 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 Well, I know Zach is there. So Zach, are you ready?
Yes, I am. My name is Zach, and my film was Astrobot. And I would say that perhaps the biggest challenge for me was I wasn't working with actors; I was working with friends, and so I had to make it as enjoyable a process for them as possible. And one of the ways that we did that was by actually not writing scripts that needed to be memorized. So they actually improv'd all their lines for the scenes as well. That in itself was almost a challenge to work with, but I think in the end it came out really well and they did a great job.
All right. Any other questions? Was Shagan Wagon improvised?
No, that was one. So we made points that each actor had to hit during some point in the scene, and that was one of the points that we had.
All right, and I have a question. Like what genre were you thinking of originally, and like how did it morph into what it ended up being?
Well, we had the creepy white van, so of course the natural instinct was to do something kidnappery. But then one of the locations that I had in mind, in the beginning of the semester, I'd found this underground bunker that Katie had used in one of her films, but it was locked when I went back to go and use it in mine. So that eliminated that location, and then Simone and SFU's note on not having weapons and stuff, it seemed a little unrealistic to have a kidnapping film in the traditional sense. So we morphed it. And that's how you got Astrobot. Yeah, there you go.
Cool, that sounds awesome. All right, so Zach was the last filmmaker today. And we just want to thank all the filmmakers for taking time to talk about your wonderful films. And it's so interesting, like afterwards and retrospectively, to hear about the obstacles that everyone had to overcome and just your experiences overall.
It's definitely, it's interesting to see like the similarities and also like the really like differences that we all had to, obstacles and stuff like that. Yeah, what you said. So now we'd like to open up the floor again for the audience to ask any questions in specific, or if there's like just a question about the class in general, and like, yeah, anybody have any more questions to ask?
We have a compliment for Sophia.
Thank you, Ronnie. If there's
okay. Are you guys still passionate about filmmaking? Would anybody like to take that one? And we'd also like to know where everyone is from. So maybe if we go like from the first person again, and everyone can say where they're from. Does that sound good? And then you can also comment on if you're still passionate about filmmaking. So that is Katie first.
Awesome. Okay. I am from California originally, but right now I'm here in Burnaby, and I am as passionate about film as I am sleep deprived. So yes, very much so.
All right, we have Ram. I don't know if she's active in this conversation.
I can try.
Oh, there you are.
I'm from Vancouver, and I guess I am still passionate about filmmaking. Hopefully next semester there'll be more in-person collaboration, but yeah.
Perfect. Do we have Tawan?
Yes, I'm from Thailand, but graduated from high school in America, here in the States, in Washington. Right now I'm in Bellingham, right beneath the border. So yeah. Oh,
Sophia?
sorry. There was another part of the question, right?
Oh, just about like if you're still passionate about filmmaking.
Oh, yes, very much so. Very much so. Thank you.
All right, then we have Sophia.
Hi, I'm from Vancouver, and am I still passionate about filmmaking? I think definitely like even more so now that like just like all seeing everybody else and all the stuff that we've had to make like, you know, remotely. And I think it kind of changed my idea of what filmmaking was. I always kind of saw it as like being on sets and stuff like this, but I see it more as just like you can do whatever you want, you can make art and it's beautiful. Yeah, that's not very articulate. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we have Colleen.
I am also from Vancouver, and yeah, I'm very much still passionate about films. And if anything, I just feel more eager to start making more films, to start trying to do more ambitious films, even if it might be difficult, because it's just kind of like an artistic rush you get, and there really is no way to satiate that like quench for art unless you quench thirst for art unless you go and make it. So yeah, I'm very much still passionate.
Great to hear. All right, Malcolm.
I am from Alberta. I've moved around a lot, but right now I'm in northern Alberta. And yes, I'm still passionate about film, but I'm also passionate about like sleep, and I feel like it's hard to like balance both of them. So you usually have to put more effort into one of them. So unfortunately, it was not sleep this time.
Yeah, that is well said, Malcolm. Lauren?
Hello. I'm sorry. I'm from Edmonton, and yes, I still really like making films. I'm still passionate about it.
Great. Okay, Luke?
Yeah, I was born and raised here in Vancouver. I say Vancouver, but I'm actually from Langley. And yes, I am passionate about film and filmmaking. Yeah.
Perfect. Joseph, are you there?
Yes. I am from South Korea. I came over here when I was 1 year old, and I've lived here ever since. And am I still passionate about filmmaking? Absolutely. If anything, I'm even more passionate about filmmaking than I was before the program started. This program just really empowers the independent filmmaking spirit. That's what I absolutely love about the SFU film program. And it just it allows you to express yourself individualistically as an artist. It's just so open-minded. So yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Angie?
Yeah, I'm from Coquitlam, or as all of us people from Coquitlam say, from Vancouver, because no one knows where Coquitlam is. But yeah, I am so passionate about film. I think similar to what other people have said, there's so many great minds here, and I just can't wait to like meet everyone, hopefully sooner than later, and make films together. Yeah, I think just seeing what everyone is capable of making and seeing how different everyone's styles are and everyone's minds are just gets me super excited to hopefully collaborate in the future.
Definitely. And Kendra?
I'm from Langley, and I also am still passionate. And just to add to what Sophia said, like I have a lot of respect for everyone in this class, and just like seeing what everyone did in the circumstances, because it's been a really rough year, and like we were faced with a lot of challenges, and just like my respect for every single person in this class is so high now, and so I just can't wait to actually work in person with them. So I'm just really excited about that. So definitely still passionate.
And then Evelina.
Yeah, so I'm from Calgary, Alberta, and I am in Calgary, Alberta. And I'm definitely still passionate about filmmaking. And I think because like doing stuff at home isn't really a lot different than being in school, except for the having all the support and like criticisms and constructive criticisms. But it definitely made me more excited to like get to work with other people who are passionate about filmmaking.
And Dag?
Yeah, I am from Vancouver and I'm 100% still feeling the filmmaker fantasy. And yeah, kind of echoing what Kendra was saying and Angie and Sophia and everyone, after seeing what everyone is doing independently under all these restrictions and everything, I just can't wait till we can all work together in person and really collaborate on everything. It's going to be fantastic.
And Jasmine?
Hey, I'm from Edmonton, Alberta as well. I'm more passionate than ever about filmmaking. I've been given the opportunity to take the first couple steps and to feel it out, to know what it's like to do it completely on my own as well, as opposed to jumping right in with a crew, which is kind of a blessing in disguise. I know what I like more. I know what I like to make, and I know what I like to see more after this. And I'm really looking forward to the future.
Well said. And I think the last one is Zach. Yeah.
I'm from California originally, and I'm definitely more passionate than ever about filmmaking. I think about, I don't know, lots of things I find inspiration around me for films nowadays.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for answering those questions. Is there any more? Sorry, I'm just
Sorry,
reading.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, could you guys tell me like what's the best thing you learned from this program and this year? Like, what did you guys improve, and what would you recommend for the people who haven't got into the program yet? Yeah.
Is there anybody who wants to take on that question?
Could you repeat, sorry, just the last part of it?
Like, what did you improve in this year, and what did you learn from the program, and what's the best thing like you ever learned, and what would you like what would you recommend the people who haven't gotten into a program, like what would you like sorry, yeah. Yeah, just recommend us to do, yeah, before we get into a program.
Okay. I think I saw Dag, you put your hand up.
Yeah, I think, one of the most important things I learned and definitely have improved upon, but I'm still improving upon, is trusting your instincts and really trusting the audience. And yeah, because a lot of the time when you're putting something together, you can just you feel that it's right at some point. Like you'll just watch it and it just feels like it clicks totally. And so I think, yeah, one thing that's really important is really leaning into your instincts and not questioning it too much, because the audience is really smart and you shouldn't underestimate them. And then one thing I'd recommend for like new prospective students or people who are coming into the program is watching a lot of films. I find that it's really helpful when you're watching films to you can kind of catalog little things you see that you like and then kind of infuse that into your own style. And I think that's something that's really important to do.
I don't know. I think another thing, like other than just watching films, is also reading about things. Like, I don't know if you're into cinematography, like you can read a book about cinematography, and you can learn a lot. Even if it's something that you don't think you're interested in, you can learn so much about it, and you might find you're really interested in it, or at least you appreciate it. And Simone might not want us to tell you his secret book, but there was the book on filmmaking by Alexander McKendrick, which he had us read, and it's like film school in a book, and it's really good.
If anyone no one else will say anything. I'd also say like keeping in mind the importance of the frame of the screen, and what is in and out, and just kind of, the mise en scène essentially. But yeah, that is also a really big factor as well that I've kind of learned throughout as to how to like use that to my advantage.
I don't know if everyone agrees with this, but personally, this is what I've gotten from this semester so far that we've been able to experience. And it's that you should be very much fixed in your art, but you shouldn't let your art be fixed to one thing. And it's kind of, you need to know what you're doing, but keep your mind open to possibilities, keep your mind open to mistakes, keep your mind open to all these other things, because it's not always what it seems. And you shouldn't just let one idea drive your entire artistic pursuit, or entire film, or entire whatever type of art you're doing. Like, you should have an idea, but don't let your art be fixed to that one idea, if that makes any sense. That's kind of what I got.
I definitely.
Oh,
sorry.
You go.
I definitely learned that too, and especially for like prospective students. One thing I personally found was like applying to many universities or colleges, I thought like, okay, I have to present, this is what I'm good at. And you kind of get into that routine. And once like actually going through the course, I learned, no, this is the time to make mistakes and experiment, because nothing's on the line except your own like fixed abilities. And so it's just a perfect time, especially in this program, I find, to just kind of like, oh, this is scary. Why? Let's like figure it out and just kind of explore.
Lots of good tips and tricks and advice there from everybody. All right, I think we have time for just one more question and then we have to wrap it up. But is there any more burning questions for? Yep.
All right, so if nobody has any more questions, then that's a wrap for the first year screening.
Yay! Woohoo!
Actual clapping sounds.
Yes. Well, I mean, thank you all of you guys for joining us. And if you like what you saw today, there's 3 more screenings from 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year film students to watch. And you can find more info on the SFU School of Contemporary Arts website. Yeah, well, thank you again, and good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Congrats.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. You guys did amazing tonight, running the Q&A and everything. Good job. You pulled it off. Woo.
Yay. Okay, good night.
Have a great night, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see your guys' films. This is so exciting.
Super excited. Yeah.
It's not that exciting. Don't worry.
That's what we said.
Have a good night.